history moves in cycles. So while we may have been ignorant of Birsa Munda, today I see him as an evolving brand. So the level of interest which people have shown across the country is enormous. So like when I first shared the title of my book with a couple of people in Mumbai, they asked me whether he was a mythological character or a historical character. And I think every day the awareness about him is growing. So when I talk of a proposed Birsa tourism corridor, it basically, involves encapsulating all of those areas where he lived, where he studied in a Christian missionary school in Chaibasa before he quit. So in fact, it's very, I don't know whether you are aware of it, but Birsa Munda's life was a constantly evolving life.
Right.
His family had converted to Christianity. Eventually, he converted to Christianity, and then he came out of it when he realized the vicious cycle which missionaries were subjecting the Adivasis and Vanvasis to.
Right.
For the next 4 years, he lived in absolute wilderness till he came across a spiritual guru, a Vaishnavite spiritual guru called Anand Pandey, who taught him healing, who basically taught him healing. He had some healing powers and with medicinal herbs. So eventually in 1894, when he resurfaced in his village after 4 years of being in wilderness, he was seen as a spiritual guru come healer, medical healer. And in fact, till 1895, but the rise in his popularity was so meteoric in that 1 year between 1894 to 95, that the same villagers who barely knew him or who were happy with him not being in the village, in that 1 year they became hardcore devotees of him, and eventually in a span of 1 year that the village turned into a tourist spot, a pilgrimage spot that would attract people from maybe a radius of 10 kilometers all around. So it was only when he was arrested on false charges of sedition in 1895, and those 2 years when he was put behind in bails and put behind the bars, and his people suffered in those 2 years because of one of the worst famines in 1897, that when he came out in 1897 end, he was open to the idea of an armed revolution, which was anyway encouraged by his followers and everybody around him. So if you look at his life, all the places that he had been to, they actually worked to help him evolve into a different avatar altogether. Whether that was his student life in Chaibasa, whether that was his life in wilderness, where he actually imbibed some healing powers and spiritual faculties, or whether he came back to practice spiritualism and became known as a social reformer between 1894 to 1895, and eventually the places where he unleashed that revolution in 1899-90. So I think if all of these places document his life, which I'm sure is an extraordinary life, they would attract a lot of tourists from across the country, besides obviously generating local revenue. And if local handicrafts and local art forms are weaved into this, then I think, there is a potential for some of these artists and craftsmen to acquire international fame.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.